I've been teaching English conversation for over 20 years, and I specialize in listening. In this video, you get a story to practice listening to English. It's difficult, but you can find a link to the script in the description below, or you can use YouTube subtitles, or you can view the transcript on YouTube. I'm going to tell you part 2 of a story about a young woman named Zoe. Listen to this story to get new vocabulary so you don't feel frustrated. Here are some pre-listening questions. Question 1. What is the power of Empathy Espresso? Question 2. What happened when the tall man took a drink of his espresso? Question 3. What did Zoe tell him to focus on? Question 4. Who did he want to call? Question 5. How did Zoe see the world differently? Echoes of empathy. Morning start. Zoe's fingers danced over the Quantum Cafe's ethereal machinery. A week into her apprenticeship, she'd grown accustomed to the impossible. Yet today's task daunted her. The Empathy Espresso, Heather intoned, allows the drinker to feel others' emotions. Handle with care. Zoe nodded, eyeing the iridescent beans warily. As she began to grind them, the air hummed with potential. The resulting powder shimmered, each grain a universe of feeling. The morning rush hit. Zoe worked tirelessly, crafting standard drinks with newfound skill. The right customer. Her real test awaited the right customer. He arrived at peak hour, tall, impeccably dressed, radiating impatience. Venti quad shot vanilla latte, quickly. Zoe squared her shoulders. Certainly, sir. Might I suggest our special today? The Empathy Espresso. The man scoffed. Fine, whatever's fastest. Zoe began the delicate process. She tamped the grounds with intention, envisioning connection. As she pulled the shot, the cafe's ambiance shifted subtly. Here you are, sir, she said, presenting the drink. Its surface rippled with unseen currents. He snatched the cup, taking a large gulp. His eyes widened. The cup slipped from his grasp, shattering. Suddenly, Zoe staggered. A tidal wave of emotion crashed over her. Stress, anxiety, fear, all amplified. She steadied herself against the counter, realizing she was feeling the man's hidden turmoil. The customer clutched his head. What is this? I feel everything. Focus. Zoe took deep breaths, centering herself as Heather had taught her. Sir, please try to relax. Focus on your breathing. Around them, other patrons' emotions seeped in. A woman's quiet joy at a recent promotion. An old man's lingering grief. A child's unbridled excitement. The cacophony of feeling was overwhelming. The businessman's eyes glistened. How do people bear it? All this emotion. Zoe gentled her voice. We're all carrying something. Sometimes we forget that about others. Sharing. A memory surfaced. The man's memory. A missed flight. A hospital. Arriving too late to say goodbye. Guilt, thick and suffocating. Your mother, whispered Zoe. You're carrying that burden alone. He looked at her, shocked. How did you? The drink allows us to share emotions. I felt your grief. It's not your fault. Tears spilled down his cheeks. Other customers turned, their own eyes misty with shared empathy. Zoe guided the man to a seat, feeling the weight of his sorrow lift slightly. As they talked, she sensed the other patrons' emotions shifting. Compassion rippled through the cafe. Gradually, the Empathy Espresso's effects faded. The businessman wiped his eyes, looking drained but lighter. I need to call my father, he said quietly. Thank you. True power. As he left, Zoe felt a hand on her shoulder. Heather smiled proudly. Well done. You've learned the true power of our crafts. Zoe nodded, emotionally exhausted, but oddly exhilarated. It's intense, beautiful, and terrifying. That's humanity, Heather replied. In every cup, we serve a piece of the human experience. Remember that. As Zoe turned back to her station, she saw the world differently. Each customer was a tapestry of hidden stories. She vowed to brew each drink with empathy, knowing the profound impact it could have. The Quantum Cafe hummed around her, alive with invisible threads connecting every soul that entered. Zoe smiled, ready to pour compassion into every cup. Answers. 1. What is the power of Empathy Espresso? It allows the drinker to feel other people's emotions. 2. What happened when the tall man took a drink of his espresso? His eyes widened and he dropped the cup. 3. What did Zoe tell him to focus on? She told him to focus on his breathing. 4. Who did he want to call? He wanted to call his father. 5. How did Zoe see the world differently? She saw the hidden stories in each customer.